Guys, by now a lot of you I know might be wondering, okay, Sterling, I understand how to create a callback right now, but what is the real purpose behind a callback? Well, let's actually take a look at this code, and before we even dive into it, let's see why one of the reasons that we should consider using callback. For reusability. For reusability means that things that you can do over and over without having to write a duplicate lines of code. For example, we have an array of students. Every student have a score, they have a subject, they have a location, and they also have a name. Now we have this array that we wanted to work with, but what if we wanted to work with a specific type of subject student? We don't want to work with every student within every single subject. We want to work with only specific subject of students. For example, we can say, all right, we only want to work with students that are currently or taking math classes. We want to see their score and maybe even see who is the top student that's scored the most into our project right now, or even want to see their location and data about them and stuff like that. Now, let's take a quick look at this function. This function is making sure that, hey, it's only going to work with students that are currently in the math subject. This is looping through the data and only getting the students that are in the math subject, and it's sending those data down a callback. It's sending those data, which means those data that are being sent are only students that are in the math subject. Now, if we want to work with students that are in the math subject, we only want to call this function, and this function is taking two params. The first one is the array, so we're gonna pass it that array name, which is list. Pass it down this function here, and the second one is a callback that takes a param of the student of that math class. And now remember, this function is only mission to send us students that are related to math class. Now check this out. Let's say I wanted to do something where I wanted to kind of see every single student score that are in the math class, so I can just kind of go ahead and, by the way, I'm gonna just do my login thing just here instead of having to do console log. Now I can say, all right, math score, and I can just say student that score. How about that? Now if I log this out, check this out. Oops, I think I'm missing something. My callback, my callback, it's actually, I should change that to student, and there you go. That's the param. And as you guys can see, this is only returning students that are in the math core, that are in the math subject, and there was a student that was in the science subject, and it does not return it. This is one beauty about using this function to only work with students that are in the math course. Let's take another example, the same function. And I'm gonna pass it the list of the student and another callback here. And then this callback gonna take, a param. All right, cool. We have something like this. What if we wanted to think about the total score of all the students that are in the math course, like all the students, the total score? Cool. We can have a global variable here, which is total score. What we can do is we can just say total score, and we keep adding every single student that are in the math course score. And now down here, after this function finish execute, we can come here and say total score is now equal to total score. Let's see what happened. And as you guys now can see, the total score is 2000. And let's see if this is accurate. 400, 700, that's like 11,000 plus 1100, and plus 900, that's like 2000. So that's pretty accurate, only getting the student that's within the math course. So what if we wanted to do something else? What if we wanted to find which of the student that is in the math subject that has the most point, aka who is this student that is in the math course that has the most score? So we can once again use this same function, evaluate student, because this is what this function is enforcing. We use this same function, we pass it the list of the student, and then it takes the student and return us every student that is in the math course. And now what we can do down here is we can do a couple of things. We can say first place student that's gonna hold an object, and we're gonna add some object, some more data about the student. And then we could say current score here. So what we're gonna do with our logic, we're gonna check, because now current score is equal to 0 every single time that it's going to it. We're gonna check, all right, is the student that score is greater than current score, which means every single time it runs, the current score only gonna be remaining with the higher student score. Cool. Once this is true, and what we're gonna do is we're going to reset a couple things. We're gonna reset the current score with the student score. It's a little bit interesting, but bear with me. And then if whichever student has the highest score, let's reset this object. So this object now is going to have the student that have the most score in our platform. And let's console log. Let's actually log this student, and we're gonna set first place student. And what we're gonna do is just gonna bring this object that's now gonna have the student that has the most score, and we're just gonna say, all right, bring this first student place and grab the name of that student that has the most score. Now, this might be a little bit confusing for you guys or complicated, but the bottom line is what I really want you guys to understand from this is how this function is only being built once and is using as many times. One over here, one over here, and one over here, and so on for only math students. And let's actually see if this one, before we run this code, let's see which student in the math class has the most high score. So Patrick in the math class has 900, and then we got math 400, we got science 500. Even though science is not included, this won't check against science, and math 700. So seems like Patrick is the one that has the most score in the math subject. Let's run this code and see. And in fact, ladies and gentlemen, the first name or the first place of the student is Patrick, which is the student that has the most score. Now, let me kind of review the code with you guys just to give you guys an understanding how this works. This is, of course, pretty straightforward, logging all the score. This is adding score over score for the student math and giving you the total score. And this one itself, it's technically checking, all right, what is the score? What is the current score right now? Is it 0? Yes, it is. Okay, loop to the first student. What is the score of that student? Is it higher than the current score? If it's higher, then it's gonna reset the current score with the current student score. And then it's gonna keep moving forward and check with the next student. Is the next student score greater than the first student that the current score is holding the value of? If it's greater, then we set the score with the student score that is greater than the current score. If it's not greater, then still keep the student right there. And that's how we kind of end up with, hey, which student is the first one in the class of the math one. So this is about callback, and of course you can feel free to place your callback elsewhere. We could say something like this. We could say get higher score, and then we call this callback down here, boom, and this gonna does the same thing. And ladies and gentlemen, that's everything I had for you.